So he'll.
All right, if we could get everybody in their seats, 9:30. Call to order. As we begin today's meeting, we would like to acknowledge that we are gathering here today on the traditional territories of the Mississaugas of the Credit, Haudenosaunee, and Wendat nations who have called this land home since time immemorial. We recognize the Mississaugas of the Credit as original rights holders and the signatories of Treaty 19, the Adjacency Purchase of 1818, and that the agreements made therein are foundational to our nation-to-nation relationships. As a city, we are committed to our ongoing role in reconciliation through meaningful action rooted in truth, justice, and respect. We are grateful to the original caretakers of this land who have ensured we are able to work, play, and live in Brampton now and in the future. Please all rise for the singing of our national anthem, to be followed by a moment of personal reflection.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for stand on guard for
All right, you may be seated. Moving on to the second item, approval of the agenda. Do any members wish to add any or remove any agenda items? I see Councillor Santos.
Thank you through Mr. Chair. Just wanted confirmation. There was a lot of correspondence that was emailed in last night, this morning. Just want to make sure that is going to be added to the agenda, the correspondence.
Okay, can the clerk confirm? The correspondence, I think it has been added, but the clerk will confirm.
Through you, Chair, all the correspondence that we received before 9 a.m. this morning has been added. We've done a revised agenda this morning to add an additional, I believe, 3 or 4 correspondence items.
Thank you. And through you, Mr. Chair, just to confirm, I did add correspondence myself to include the correspondence as well as like a PowerPoint slide deck. Was that added as well, just to confirm?
That would probably have to be an added discussion item.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Did you send it in time?
I sent it in as correspondence. I asked for it to be added as correspondence.
What? Maybe we'll move to the next speaker and
Sure.
you can confirm in the meantime. Yep. Councillor George.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. I've emailed the clerk to add an announcement to today's agenda regarding Brampton Citizen Award recipient Barton Singh, who's here in the audience today.
Okay.
And just informally as well, a happy belated birthday to Councillor Paleshi and Mayor Brown.
I think we all second that. Okay, Parnpreet Rare. That'll be 6.6 for now. I know he has to go perhaps early, and so do the baseball players. So we'll do the proclamations, and then we'll reorder at that time if we need to. Before we go to Councillor Santos's point, Councillor Plush, you're on the board. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Mayor. Can I add announcement for Ride for Raja, please. Ride for Raja.
RAJA, and that will be 6.7.
Excellent, thanks.
Yeah, Ride for Raja. Okay, I think Councillor Keenan, you're on, yep.
Mike. Thank you, and through you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. I'd like to add a discussion item on behalf of the mayor for Susan Fennell Sportsplex.
Absolutely, that'll be item 16.2. Councillor Santos, have we confirmed? Do have a
Thank you through Mr. Chair. So the discussion item is fine at 16.4, but I did also add correspondence to the agenda this morning at 6:59 a.m. So I just want to make sure that that is included.
Through you, Chair, we have received the correspondence and the slides. So the slides will have ready if there's a discussion item added. And the letter was included with that, but we can move it to the correspondence section of the agenda.
Thank you. If we could just move it to the correspondence section, that would be great. Thank you.
Sure, and when we get to the discussion item, we can confirm then everything is the way you want, Councillor Santos. And yeah, a discussion item will be added for 16.4. And I will be adding, so 16.2 got added, so I will be adding 16.3, review of signed bylaws. And 16.5, cyclist and pedestrian safety related speed cushions. Yeah. I apologize, I do realize I did not email you that one. Cyclist and pedestrian safety related speed cushions, 16.5. To the clerk, are we okay? Or do you need? Sure. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I don't think your mic's on. Is your mic on? Yeah.
Just to recap the additions, there's an announcement, 6.6 from Councillor Tour, the Brampton Citizen Award. Announcement 6.7, added by Councillor Palashi, Ride for Raja. We have discussion item 16.2, Susan Fennell Sportsplex. 16.3, review of signed bylaws. 16.4, mobility. And 16.5, cyclist and pedestrian safety.
I think if we could just clarify the correspondence, where was that placed? The correspondence? Under correspondence or notice of motion?
The correspondence from Councillor Santos is moved into the correspondence section of the agenda, 14.2.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. And I will pass it on to Mayor Brown to finish the proclamation. I have a motion moved by, yeah, oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Apologies. I'll pass it on to Mayor Brown right now.
Okay. Councillor Tour.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Brown. I added one announcement regarding Barn Precinct. He's an active duty officer right now. He's on duty, and he missed the original Brampton Citizen Awards because he was on duty as well. So if I can ask your indulgence in varying the order, if we can just have that one announcement before the proclamations as well, we can present the award, and he has to get back on the road. I see him and his supervisor here, so we can send them back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councillor Palashi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the clerk's office, Mr. Mayor, it's the first time, there's a number of additional items, which, no problem, we always kind of do that. This is the first time I'm hearing that there's a deadline the day of. Regardless of a deadline the day of, it still requires 2/3, correct?
Yes.
Because it didn't make it the week before.
That's right.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to seek clarity on. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Santos.
Thank you through you, Mr. Mayor. So just because we have the Breaking Borders, a lot of kids in the room who are wanting to get to baseball practice this morning. So just to confirm that they will also be moved up in the agenda so that they could be on their way.
Correct.
Thank you.
Are there any other additions? Seeing none, we have a motion moved by Councillor Keenan and seconded by Councillor Santos to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to declaration of interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. Do any members have a declaration of pecuniary interest for any item on the agenda today? Seeing none, the clerk will so note for the meeting minutes. We have the following minutes at City Council minutes before us today. The City Council minutes are May 6. Do any members have questions or comments regarding the minutes? Seeing none, I have a motion moved by Councillor Toor, seconded by Councillor Power to approve the minutes as published and circulated. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to our consent motion, and we're going to go through all the items. And if members of council want to hold an item, they can. 7.3, staff presentation, Heart Lake Turtle Troopers delegation. Hold. 8.1, government relations matters. 12.1, minutes planning development committee. 12.2, minutes planning development committee for May 11th. 12.3, minutes committee of council May 20th. Correspondence, Chinese Heritage Month, 14.1. 14.2, correspondence, bike lane removal.
Correspondence that was added.
Okay.
Thank you.
15.1, notice of motion, enact Canadian Chinese Heritage Month. And 15.2, notice of motion, allocation of rink board advertising at Memorial Arena. 15.3, notice of motion, concessions operations at Memorial Arena. 15.4, notice of motion, site alteration bylaw amendment. 15.5, notice of motion, Charlevoix Boulevard bike lane. 16.1, referred matters list. 19.1, closed minutes, City Council May 6. 19.2, closed minutes, Committee of Council May 20th. 19.3, closed report OLT matter to County Court. I have a motion moved by Councillor.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Can we hold the two county court?
Okay. Motion moved by Councillor Medeiros, seconded by Councillor Pleshy to approve the consent motion. All those in favor? Motion carries. Now, we have a number of proclamations today. Oh, the police officer presentation. Okay, so Councillor Toor, if you could do the introduction.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Brown. Thank you for your indulgence in this. Barnpreet Singh Briar is a community, it has been in the community, and many of us know him personally as well. He runs a program called Cricket for Autism, a program under the Welfare for All organization, which raises awareness and funds for children and families impacted by autism. In 2025, Barn brought together local businesses to donate 4 electric wheelchairs to children with disabilities. He's deeply committed to youth development, and for the last 10 years, he has volunteered his time to coach youth field hockey at the Punjab Panthers Hockey Club. He additionally also volunteers with the Peel Children's Aid Society Youth Adoption. Barn consistently inspires young people, especially those facing barriers, to believe in their potential and contribute positively to society. Barn serves the community professionally as a police officer, dedicating his career to public safety, trust building, and service. And because of these reasons, he was nominated and he won the Brampton Citizens Award, the Inspiration Award. This year. Barn wasn't able to make it to that ceremony. It was a fantastic ceremony hosted by Councillor Keenan, but he is here today to accept that award. So Barn, if you want to come down, if you want to say a few words, and if we can present the award to Barn today. Want to come down? Sorry to put you on the spot, but if you want to share a few words.
Thank you. Morning, Your Worship, Mayor Brown, and the council member. Thank you for this award, and
He's too humble, too
You're putting us
modest.
on the spot, but as a supervisor, I'm very proud to have Barnpreet on our team, and I look forward to further awards. I'm sure that he's not done yet in his career, so thank you very much.
It is amazing to see you serve professionally the community through Peel Police, but we know the amount of work that you do out in the community throughout the year. He has been exceptional with all the volunteer drives, and these are the things that got noted down here when he got nominated. I know beyond this, the amount of food drives throughout the year for every occasion possible, whether it is Eid, they do a drive for Christmas at the youth shelter. Throughout the year, they have done tons of these food drives, so we're very happy to see him contribute to the community so positively and be recognized officially by the city of Brampton. So if we can ask members of council that we can present him the award and take that picture with him, that would be excellent. Thank you.
Well, Preet, we got the best of the best in PRP. Thank you for being an example of that. Why don't we have Councillor Santos's item that was moved up, and then we'll do the 2 sets of photos. So if you just hold for 2 minutes, then we'll let you get back to making sure bad people don't commit crimes. But thank you for your dedication to public safety and to our community. The other item we moved up in advance of the proclamations was item 6.5, Regional Councillor Santos's item on breaking border sports. Tiffany DeCoito and Krista Scott, co-founders of Breaking Border Sports, please come forward to the podium to share the announcement today.
Hi. Hi, guys. Good afternoon, everybody. First, on behalf of Breaking Border Sports, I just want to say thank you to the City of Brampton, Mayor Patrick Brown, councilors, staff, coaches, parents, and volunteers, and everybody who helped make this possible. Today is a really special because this tournament is exactly what the what the name stands for, Breaking Borders. We have teams here from Newfoundland, Dominican Republic, and organizations from all across Ontario coming together to play the game of baseball. I want to give a special welcome to the Newfoundland Dirt Dogs and all the Dominican teams that traveled so far to be with us this week. For all these kids, this is more than just baseball. Some of them are experiencing Canada for the first time, seeing a Blue Jays game for the first time, meeting new people, creating friendships, and building memories that will last forever. That's what this tournament is really about. It's about culture, community, opportunity, and bringing people together through sports. Over the next few days, we'll have hundreds of athletes, families across Brampton supporting local fields, hotels, restaurants, businesses. But more importantly, we're showing these young athletes that no matter where you come from, baseball can connect all of us. So thank you again to everyone supporting Breaking Borders. And we hope everyone enjoys their amazing tournament weekend. Thank you.
Councillor Santos.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much, Breaking Borders, for bringing this tournament to the city of Brampton and our sports tourism team, Gage Board. We were holding that banner with pride with all the athletes downstairs. Thank you for your support in making this happen as well. I'm looking forward to the tournament. Last night, I was at my niece's Brampton girls softball tournament, a game last night. And then when I came home, I was watching the Jays game. And I know you all are watching the Jays game too, and we watched them come back from losing and winning. And I know we have some fans from Guerrero Jr. who are here from the Dominican as well throughout the weekend. Welcome to Brampton. We're so happy to have you here. And I want to say thank you to both of you for providing this opportunity to showcase who we are in the city of Brampton. I'm really proud of your work and you championing who we are as a city, especially for our young people. So thank you very much. And we will take a photo with the entire team.
Thanks. And we also have this for you. And we got your jersey this time.
Amazing. We love Breaking Borders. Two photos now? You got the award? Yeah. We have other photos to
Let's do this one first.
Wait, if we can wait, hold on.
Okay, members of council, we are back to proclamations. The first proclamation is Vesak Day, and Councillor Brar will have the honor to do the proclamation for Vesak Day.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, Vesak Day. In 2026, Vesak Day will be celebrated on Sunday, May 31st. This day commemorates the birth and enlightenment and passing of Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, and is observed by millions of Buddhists around worldwide. For Guangsheng Temple of Toronto is situated in Mississauga. Brampton Buddhist Temple is physically located in Caledon. Both organizations serve the Buddhist community in Peel. For over 25 years, it has provided cultural, educational, community, and spiritual support for the Buddhism and to those interested in Buddhist teachings and practices. On this day, Buddhists will pray at nearby temples, participate in chanting and meditation rituals, and offer gifts as a sign of respect and gratitude for the Buddha's life, goodwill, and wisdom. Various celebrations will take place across Peel and Canada, including public events and cultural activities reflecting the diverse traditions of Buddhism to raise awareness, instill pride, and celebrate Vesak. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim May 31st, 2026 as Vesak Day in the city of Brampton. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brar. I would note for all the proclamations, we'll do photos again with the proclamations as we finish the 7 proclamations. But is there a representative from Vesak Day that wants to say a response to our city's first Vesak Day proclamation?
Good morning. Auspicious greeting to Mayor Brown and our honorable City Council's members. And my name is Venerable Chue Fan, the Abbess of Fo Guang Shan Temple of Toronto. So on behalf of the Buddhist community, I would like to sincerely thank the City of Brampton for recognizing the Vesak Day. And today, as you can see, many Buddhists from different traditions and communities present here to support this meaningful recognitions. So their presence reflects our shared aspirations for peace, harmony, and mutual understanding within our society. And as Fo Guang Shan Temple of Toronto, we actually focus on the humanistic Buddhism preaching. We emphasizing bringing the Buddhist teaching into everyday life, caring for others, respecting diversity, serving the community, and creating harmony in society. Peace is not only the absence of conflict, it begins in our hearts, in our words, and in the way we treat one another each day. So just 2 days ago, the Buddhist communities from across Canada gathered in Parliament Hills in Ottawa for the National Vesak celebrations. So it was deeply inspiring to see people of many cultures, languages, and traditions come together peacefully with a shared wish for harmony and goodwill. And today, the City of Brampton continues the same spirits as recognizing Vesak and affirming the importance of multicultural understanding and peaceful coexistence. The Buddha taught hatred is never appeased by hatred. By non-hatred alone is hatred appeased. So these timeless teachings remind us that compassion and understanding are foundation of lasting peace. So may today's recognition inspire greater kindness, harmony, and goodwill throughout our community. Thank you once again for Mayor Brown, members of councils, and the City of Brampton for this meaningful recognitions. Thank you.
Good morning, Mayor and the members of the council. It's such a great honor for me to come back to the City Hall. And as the monk living in Mississauga and serving the Peel region since 1994, and I have the memory of conducting a meditation session for the city councilors in 1996 when the Mayor Robertson was here. So even coming here to celebrate Vesak with all of you gives me great joy. And in fact, the month of May is a sacred for all of us. And as Venerable Chufan mentioned, this month actually is a very important. Even Government of Canada is recognizing the month of May as Buddhism Heritage Month. And 2 weeks ago, the Ontario also made a proclamation to recognize the month of May as Buddhism Heritage Month. And last year, the city of Mississauga recognized the month of May as Buddhism Heritage Month. And now the Brampton city is recognizing the Vesak Day, and we feel like home. So today we express our heartfelt gratitude to the mayor and all members of the Brampton City Council for officially proclaiming Vesak Day and Buddhist Heritage Month in honor of the Buddhist communities of the city of Brampton and Peel region. This meaningful proclamation is a beautiful recognition of the rich cultural, spiritual, and social contributions made by Buddhists from diverse traditions and backgrounds. It reflects Brampton's commitment to multiculturalism, inclusiveness, harmony, and mutual respect. The teachings of the Buddha inspire people to cultivate compassion, kindness, mindfulness, gratitude, peace, and nonviolence, universal values that help create happier individuals, stronger families, and a more caring and peaceful society for all. Through meditation, community service, interfaith friendship, and acts of generosity, Buddhist communities continue to contribute positively to the well-being and unity of our city and nation. May this proclamation further strengthen understanding, friendship, and harmony among all communities in Brampton and throughout Canada. Thank you once again to the mayor and members of council for this historic and meaningful recognition. And we would like to wish you happy Vesak and Buddha Purnima.
Thank you very much. And if you just sit tight, we'll do a photo at the end of the proclamations.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I would like to add one more. Actually, I brought a wish, a greeting from the year of the host. So maybe I'll do it when
Sure.
we have the photo.
Sure. Okay. Wonderful. Looks beautiful.
Calligraphy.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay. Our next proclamation is National Accessibility Week, May 31st. And Councillor Power, an advocate for accessibility, will read the proclamation.
Thank you, and through the chair. National Accessibility Week. Whereas National Accessibility Week was established by the Government of Canada in 2017, inspired by Rick Hansen's Man in Motion World Tour, the week celebrates the valuable contribution of Canadians living with disabilities and reflects on how we can become more accessible Canada. This year's theme, Building a Strong, Accessible Canada, is an opportunity to come together as a community and embrace diversity and contribute to the vision where everyone can participate fully. National Accessibility Week aims to create awareness and celebrates the work of individuals and organizations who are removing barriers and creating accessible and inclusive communities while acknowledging the valuable contributions and leadership of Canadians living with disabilities. More than 27% of Canadians aged 15 and older have a disability. In Ontario, 1 in 4 people have a disability. The City of Brampton is committed to preventing and removing barriers and enhancing access to goods, services, and facilities so that everyone can participate fully in the community with independence and dignity. To recognize National Accessibility Week, inclusive programming and activities will be offered at recreation centers throughout the city at no cost between May 31st and June 6th, with a flag-raising ceremony on Monday, June 1st, 2026. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim May 31st to June 6th, 2026 as National Accessibility Week in the City of Brampton.
Thank you, Councillor Power. Do we have a representative here from National Accessibility Week? Okay. Okay, great, from our accessibility team. Sabrina.
Thank you, Mayor Brown, Councillor Power, and members of Council for this proclamation. National Accessibility Week is an important opportunity to celebrate Canadians with disabilities, raise awareness about barriers, and highlight the importance of accessibility and inclusion in our communities. The Accessibility Office, through the support of the Accessibility Advisory Committee here at the city, work hard to ensure that city projects meet our corporate standards for accessibility so that everyone who visits a city facility has an inclusive experience. Thank you for recognizing this important week.
Thank you very much for all the great work of the accessibility team. Our next proclamation is for Seniors Month, and I believe Councillor Vasante has that proclamation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and through you, Chair. Whereas June is Seniors Month in Ontario, during Seniors Month, we recognize and celebrate the contributions, achievements, and ongoing impact of older adults in the city of Brampton. It is our time to honor seniors and highlight their valuable role in strengthening our diverse and vibrant community. The City of Brampton is committed to ensuring residents have the services, programs, and supports that seniors need to stay healthy, age safely, and enjoy a high quality of life. The city continually works to foster inclusive opportunities and initiatives that respond to the evolving needs of older adults by promoting active living, social connection, and community engagement across our city. Throughout the month of June, the City of Brampton recognizes Seniors Month by offering a variety of events and programs that celebrate the contributions of older adults while promoting well-being and inclusion and celebrating lifelong participation in the community. These activities create a safe and inviting environment where generations thrive together to create an age-friendly and inclusive community. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of the Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim June 2026 as Seniors Month in the City of Brampton. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Vasante. Do we have a representative from our seniors? Great.
Good morning, Mayor and members of Council. Thank you for recognizing June as Seniors Month in the City of Brampton. This is a time to celebrate the contributions of older adults who continue to shape and strengthen our community. This year's theme, Let's Get Moving, highlights our commitment to helping residents stay active, connected, and engaged. Through initiatives like free recreation memberships for residents 65+, Springfest on June 12th, and our weekly community barbecues, we're supporting healthy, inclusive, and age-friendly opportunities across the city. And we invite all older adults to take part and stay connected this June. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next proclamation, Councillor Santos will read out, and that is for Pride Month. Love is love is love. Over to Councillor Santos.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. Whereas the City of Brampton recognizes that Pride activities celebrate the contributions of Two-Spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, pansexual, asexual gender, 2S LGBTQIA+ communities in Canada, Pride season is a time to honor the history of 2S LGBTQIA+ rights and achievements. Homosexuality was decriminalized in Canada in 1969. However, the struggle for equity for 2S LGBTQIA+ individuals has been long and hard fought. The first Canadian gay liberation protest and march took place at Parliament Hill in Ottawa in 1971, and in 1973, the first Pride Week was established for Canadian LGBT rights, where events were held in several Canadian cities. In 1981, Operation SOAP, also known as the Bathhouse Raids, was one of the largest mass arrests in Canada, where over 300 men were arrested in Toronto. This prompted nationwide liberation protests, and the first official Pride Parade took place in Vancouver in 1981. Today's Pride activities and celebrations are an opportunity to reflect on ongoing oppression that many members of the community continue to face, especially racialized trans women. The City of Brampton will commemorate and acknowledge Pride Month in June 2026 through sharing education and awareness about services and supports for 2S LGBTQIA+ Brampton community members. Activities will include raising the Intersex Inclusive Progress Pride flag on June 2nd at 11 a.m. and holding a celebration on June 27th at Garden Square in Brampton. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim June 2026 as Pride Month in the City of Brampton.
Thank you, Councillor Santos. Do we have a representative here for Pride Month? Seeing none, we'll make sure that the proclamation is presented. Our next proclamation is one that was requested by Councillor Plushy to read. He actually requested the next two proclamations, which is Bike Month and Italian Heritage Month. So Bike Month, Councillor Plushy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. June is a great month, my second favorite month, after, of course, your birthday being in the month of May. So Bike Month, June is celebrated annually as Bike Month in the Greater Toronto and Hamilton area, and Brampton reflects this spirit with its diverse, safe, and integrated transportation options that support civic sustainability by encouraging walking, cycling, and transit. The City of Brampton's Active Transportation Advisory Committee offers input and guidance to city staff and council on creating and maintaining a safe, connected cycling network within Brampton and its neighboring municipalities. The Active Transportation Advisory Committee will be hosting events throughout the month, including the launch of its City Community Ride season. The committee also supports the development of an integrated multimodal transportation system and promotes a culture where cycling is a preferred choice for both recreation and everyday travel. Bike Month brings together families, commuters, and the community groups to promote cycling via the May 31st Bike Festival, June 13th, Bike the Creek, June 23rd, Bike to Work Day for city staff, and the numerous community bike rides hosted by the city's Active Transportation Advisory Committee and Community Bike Hub. Brampton Bike Hub, sorry. Bike Month represents an opportunity to encourage those who live and work in Brampton to try riding a bicycle for everyday trips, as well as for recreation, and to realize the health, environmental, and economic benefits of doing so. Therefore, on behalf of Mayor Patrick Brown, the City of Brampton Council hereby proclaims June 2026 as Bike Month in the City of Brampton.
Do we have a representative from Bike Month here to respond to the proclamation?
The Active Transportation team.
Or Active Transportation? Not at this moment. We'll make sure that the Active Transportation Committee gets that proclamation. We have our next proclamation, also from Councillor Plushy, and that is for Italian Heritage Month. And I know he's got some Italian heritage, just like myself, Councillor Keenan, Councillor Fattini, Councillor Tour just really likes Italian food. But over to Councillor Plushy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, each year, June is celebrated as Italian Heritage Month, a time to celebrate Italian residents while learning more about their history, culture, and traditions. The City of Brampton proudly recognizes Italian Heritage Month and acknowledges the significant role Italian residents have played in enriching our communities with their strong values of family, hard work, and civic engagement. The city extends gratitude to all residents of Italian heritage for their continued contribution to the social, economic, political, and cultural fabric of Brampton. Italian Heritage Month is an opportunity to acknowledge the resilience and achievements of Italian immigrants and their descendants, and to educate future generations about their inspiring legacy. The City of Brampton celebrates the vibrancy, diversity, and inclusivity that defines our community and pays tribute to the many contributions of Italian Canadians who over many generations have helped build a stronger, more united city. On behalf of Mayor Patrick Brown, the City Council do hereby proclaim June 2026 as Italian Heritage Month in the City of Brampton.
And I don't believe we have a representative for Italian Heritage Month here, but we're going to have a big celebration coming soon at City Hall. And so there'll be an opportunity to present that proclamation at the flag raising. Our last proclamation is for Aphasia Awareness Month, and our Deputy Mayor requested to read this proclamation.
Thank you. Aphasia is a long-term communication disorder most commonly caused by stroke, affecting an estimated 165,000 Canadians. Research has found that aphasia negatively impacts quality of life more than Alzheimer's disease and cancer. Yet further research has found that only 5% of the population possesses basic knowledge of aphasia, leaving many individuals feeling misunderstood and socially isolated. The Halton Peel Community Aphasia Programs, HPCAP, is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to enhancing communication skills and quality of life for adults with aphasia and other acquired communication disorders. HPCAP provides supportive, real-world social communication, programming, and education for families, friends, caregivers, and the broader community, and currently serves over 160 adults living with aphasia every week. On Friday, June 19, 2026, HPCAP will host its 10th annual Talk, Stroll, and Roll Walkathon for Aphasia from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at Jacuzzi Park in Brampton, bringing together individuals living with aphasia, their families, caregivers, and community members. Through the Talk, Stroll, and Roll Walkathon and Aphasia Awareness Month, HPCAP aims to raise public awareness and foster a more inclusive and compassionate Brampton for all those living with aphasia. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim June 2026 as Aphasia Awareness Month in the City of Brampton. Thank you.
And do we have a representative for that proclamation? Seeing none, that completes our proclamations. Just checking, will there be any photo requests for any of the announcements? Yes, right? That's it, but not for the announcements. Okay, so we'll do the photos now then. Okay, so let's do the proclamations. Photos. Members of council, could join me and take your proclamation with you.
We're back up for.
Okay, we are at our next announcement, which is 6.2. This is sponsored by Regional Councillor Navjeet Kaur Brar, and this is for crossing guards. And we have Amanda, Violet, Mary here for this. If I can invite them to the podium, and if Councillor Brar wants to introduce the item.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to say thank you for being here today as we recognize the importance of safety in our community and celebrate the dedication of our school crossing guards. I will give the floor to them because I know they have much to say, but really, truly want to say every day crossing guards help ensure that our children, families, and residents can travel safely to and from school. Rain or shine, they stand there on the busy intersections with patience, care, and commitment, protecting some of the most vulnerable members of our community. And I just want to say your work goes beyond directing traffic. Crossing guards provide reassurance to parents, guidance, to the students, and the visible reminder that safety is a shared responsibility. And they are an important part of our neighborhood and contribute greatly to creating a caring and connected community. So thank you again for being here. I know when I'm picking up my kids, it really is important to say hi to your crossing guard, and it's important to appreciate for the work all they do. Thank you again.
Good morning, Mayor Brown, members of council, city staff, media, and the public. My name is Amanda McElveen. I'm the manager of transportation, right-of-way, and safety, inclusive of our city's crossing guards. I'm here today to announce Ontario Crossing Guard Appreciation Week, which runs from June 1st through to June 5th. Joining me today is Violet Skirton, who is the city's supervisor of crossing guards, and Mary Spina, one of the city's 238 guards who has worked as a crossing guard for 29 years. School Crossing Guard Appreciation Week is a week-long event dedicated to recognizing and honoring the essential contributions of school crossing guards in our communities. This initiative goes beyond a simple thank you and strives to create a heightened awareness of the critical role these unsung heroes play in promoting safe and active travel to school. We are also reminded why road safety is so important. The tragic loss of 2 crossing guards in Ontario during this school year shows the potential and very real dangers they face every day. When drivers slow down, stay alert, and respect school zones, they support the guards who are performing important duties to protect our most vulnerable road users, including our children. By celebrating Ontario Crossing Guard Appreciation Week, we help build an ongoing sense of appreciation of the service they provide in Brampton and across the province. In closing, I would like to thank our crossing guards for their work and dedication to keeping our children safe. Thank you.
Councillor Plushy, you said you wanted to respond?
No, you can't speak.
Only one person. Okay, well, thank you for being here. Any additional, Councillor Brar? Okay, well, thank you for everything you do. Okay, this takes us to our next item, which is Councillor Paleshi, and that is for Miss Canada United World 2026. And please note, Councillor Paleshi, only one councillor can speak.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for explaining the rules that I know. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have somebody pretty special in the audience today, and that's Stephanie Heidenschuster. And I want to thank Stephanie for coming down, and I'd like you to come down, Stephanie, and tell us a little bit about your story, the encouragement that you have for girls and women, not only in the city of Brampton, but across the world. You're an amazing human being, and we're all truly honored to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning, Honorable Patrick Brown, councillors. A special thank you to Michael Pileski, as well as Councillor Brar for having me. I know a lot of times we look in magazines or on the television, and there are women in pageantry, and what you see is the glamour. You see the beautiful gowns, the makeup. But what I really wanted to showcase was that a woman could be successful and at any shape, size, wherever she comes from. I'm an Italian as well. You would never know that with my last name. But I really wanted to encourage women and young girls to believe in themselves and their dreams, and that anything is attainable. So for myself, I've been proudly living in Brampton for the past 22 years. This is what I call home. I love the atmosphere going into either the mall, Bramalea City Center, going into your local grocery store, and it feels like it has that hometown feeling. And you never would know that it is the second largest city in Ontario, and we are still growing. For me, I am not only a woman that has won Mrs. Canada United World 2026, but I'm also a mother to 4 children, a grandmother, as well as a wife. We're going to be celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary, and he's here too supporting me. Alex is my husband. And I'm also an educator working with children with differing abilities, which is autism, Down syndrome, as well as behaviors. I've also written a book based on inclusion and diversity, which is called I'm Special, and Regional Councillor Pileski has that. And I'm currently touring Indigo in the province of Ontario, and I am making sure that children know at a young age that it doesn't matter what language we speak, where we come from, how we dress, that each and every one of us has a gift. For myself, my parents immigrated from Italy to Canada. The only language I knew how to speak at the time was Italian. I then learned how to speak English. So English is my second language. But here I am today in front of such successful individuals. But I want to let children know that it's okay to be different, and that's what we embrace in life, is being unique. I always tell kids when I'm in a classroom that when you open up a box of crayons, you always see these beautiful colors because they're all different and beautiful. And I always tell them we're kind of boring if we all look the same. I just want to let everyone know that aside from that, I'm also an advocate for pregnancy and infant loss, and I volunteer with Sunnybrook Hospital for pregnancy and infant loss, where not only do I assist families going through that are bereaved, going through the loss of a child, but I'm also a voice working with healthcare professionals on a family panel with doctors, therapists, nurses, and I work with them ensuring that when patients come into the hospital, whether in an office, emergency room, whether they are, they need that help, that I am there to support them. And I'm here today. City of Brampton has always acknowledged my proclamation for Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Day, so thank you again. I just want to say that I was honored on April 26th in London, Ontario. I was crowned Mrs. Canada United World, where in September I will be going to Texas representing Canada, but I will have the city of Brampton in my heart because of its resilience, its diversity, and its unwavering sense of community. The city has given me so much, and it has purpose. My purpose is to give back through service, through advocacy, and through every platform I am blessed to stand for. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Councillor Michael Pileski and Councillor Navjit Kaur. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, everybody.
You know you're Italian when you're actually saying my name the way it's supposed to be said. Canadianized Pileski, but
and probably
Pileski,
with my hands, right?
100%, absolutely. And with the German last name, I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
With your, the Party Life consultant, pageant judge, your advocacy on the loss, the personal loss advocacy, the work you do on mental health, it's amazing to me that, you're so busy and you do such great work. And I would be honored if you would sign this book.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that proclamation, or the scroll that we gave you was just a way of the city of Brampton acknowledging you and saying thank you for everything.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And when I do my work, it's always with my heart, with no acceptance, like with nothing in return. I just love what I do, and helping those that need us at the most difficult times is what's needed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did you want me to sign that?
Yes,
now?
I will come.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Pileski. Our next item is one held by Regional Councillor Dennis Keenan, and that's the art exhibition Black and Brown, which is occurring May 29th to June 5th. Over to Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, Mayor Brown, through you. I just really want to recognize and congratulate Malachi. on his very first solo art exhibition, which is Black and Brown, taking place at Ryan's Chai in the downtown from May 29th to June 5th. This expedition explores the relationship between Black and Brown communities in Brampton. And it's just so great to see that our local artists are on display here right in our city and right in our downtown.
Thank you, Councillor Keenan. And Malachi, tell us about the exhibit.
Yeah, good morning, Mayor Brown. Good morning, councillors. Thank you very much for this chance to announce this artwork that I'm going to be putting on display. My name is Malachi Watson Narcisse. I'm an artist in the city, and I'm proud to be considered a part of the art community here in Brampton. I love the city. I love the multiculturalism, the diversity, and I want to see the city grow and thrive, especially on a cultural level. But one thing that I see as a bit of a barrier is some of the invisible walls that we put up between ourselves, especially on a cultural level. And it's thinking about that led me to make this body of work that I call Black and Brown. And so this is basically an artistic way to imagine what the city would look like if we broke down some of these barriers, specifically between the Black community and the Brown community here in Brampton. And it's also a way for me to look at some of our parallel histories, the commonalities between our communities, and also a way to call these barriers into question. So the work will be on display at Ryan's Chai from this Friday to June 5th, so about a week, and then there's going to be an opening reception on Friday, May 29th, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. So that's at Ryan's Chai, just down the street, 13 Queen Street West. And you're all invited. I just came here to invite you guys to come and see the work. And if you can make it to the opening reception, great. But I'm really excited just to get people to think about these things. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And let's all share this information so we can get the word out about this exhibition. And thank you for the courage to do this and come forward and share. We hope this will be a big success. Our next announcement is actually dealt with. We did 6.5 already in advance, breaking borders. We did 6.6 and this. 6.7 is the added item, also from Councillor Palashi, because his sister Mika is here today.
Yes, she needs no introduction. You all know her. Mika, come on up. Let's hear what you have to say. We're all listening, always listening whenever you're in the room. Thanks, Mika.
Thank you for having us here, Your Worship, Mayor Brown, council members, distinguished guests, and community members. We are so honored to be here today. And on behalf of Mandeep Singh Chima Charitable Foundation and Right for Raja, we would like to thank Councillor Palashi for having us here today. And today, I'll take this opportunity to officially announce Right for Raja, 14th annual Right for Raja on June 28, 2026, which is going to be on Sunday. And I would also like to mention here that what began as a tribute to my brother has become a meaningful moment within our community where we get together and we help the youth who is really in need to sponsor their education, higher education and after-school programs. In the past 13 years, we have raised over $600,000 and sponsored these kids. And we really want to thank everybody, all our sponsors, our riders, our media partners, and community members, and of course, City of Brampton for supporting us always. I would also like to thank City of Brampton for honoring my brother's memory and making street on his name, which is Raja Street. Last November 28th, my parents moved in their house, which is built on Raja Street. I cannot explain in words how much it means to us when I saw my parents moving into that house. It's like I cannot even explain that in words, but my heart melts when I see the support from all over the place, and especially from City of Brampton, Mayor Brown, Mayor Councillor Plashy, Harkirat, Deputy Mayor Harkirat Singh, who took it very personal, and when they were building streets again, we got the honor, like my brother got the honor to have that street made. So thank you so much. And we look for your support like each year, the Snail Grove Community Center. We would like to do our ride from there, and like every year, the price for that will be waived. So that's our request, and our humble request to all the councillors, all to share this information on your social media to spread the word, and also please attend the Ride for Raja. Thank you very much.
Benji, I think I think it's a like we all automatically, it's waived, I think we've all waived it for future, and you're very special to us, and it's our honor that, we're able to do this in memory of Raja, and the fact that you keep this going, and it's such a fantastic event for such a good cause, and Peel Children's Aid Foundation, they owe you a lot for sure with everything that you're doing, your family's doing, and so thank you for being here. I'd also like to ask if we can go up and take a picture.
Sure. Yep, thank you.
I brought a rest for.
Okay, now this takes us to public delegations, and we, I believe, adopted that on consent, which was, or to the clerk? No? Okay, the correspondence on consent, okay. So the public delegation is from Gloria Gao, CEO of the Brampton Chinese Cultural Association, BCCA. They do a great job with functions throughout the year. Thank you, Councillor Vasante, for looking at how we can work closer to celebrate our local Chinese community. So, Gloria, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing? Yes, today we are so excited to go down here. But let me invite the Margarita for speak on behalf of Brompton, also the whole Chinese community. Please welcome Margarita.
Thank you, Gloria. Hi, good morning, Mayor Brown and members of council. Thank you for the lovely photo with the proclamations earlier. We have some materials prepared and we'd love to showcase them for us to know a little more about BCCA as well as what the Chinese Heritage Month entails. So my name is Margaret Wong, and it is my honor to speak today on behalf of Brampton Chinese Cultural Association, also known as BCCA, in support of item 15.1, which is the motion to enact Canadian Chinese Heritage Month. I would like to sincerely thank Councillor Vincente and members of council for advancing this initiative and for your continued commitment to diversity and inclusion in the city of Brampton. Could we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. Just a little more on BCCA. BCCA is a Brampton-based nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting cultural heritage, strengthening multicultural harmony, and empowering youth through education and community engagement. At its core, our mission is to build bridges between communities to ensure every culture in our city is recognized, respected, and valued. Go to the next slide, please. Over the past several years, we have organized Chinese New Year and Lantern Festival celebrations, Mid-Autumn Festival events, cultural workshops, and Asian food festivals. These programs, if we could go to the next slide, please. These events have welcomed more than 2,000 participants from across Brampton from multiple ethnic communities and local businesses. They are shared spaces where communities come together to connect, learn, and celebrate. They also support local businesses and contribute to the cultural and economic vibrancy of our city. Go to the next slide, please. So Chinese heritage spans thousands of years. Through traditions like lion dance, martial arts, and festivals, it adds richness to Brampton's cultural identity and brings communities closer together. Next slide, please. So as the motion recognizes, Chinese Canadians have played a significant role in the development of Canada, from the building of the Canadian Pacific Railway to entrepreneurship and public services, while overcoming historical injustices, including the head tax and the Exclusions Act. The establishment of Chinese Heritage Month formally recognizes these contributions and affirms that they're part of Brampton's shared story. The motion strengthens cultural education, promotes awareness, and reflects the multicultural values that define both Canada and the city of Brampton. Could we go to the next slide, please? Brampton's Chinese community continues to grow, and along with an increasing interest from residents of all backgrounds in cultural participation and engagement. Brampton already proclaims Portuguese, Italian, as we've just heard, Irish, Polish, and Hungarian heritage months. This motion extends the same recognition to the Chinese community. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yes, so we strongly support this motion. If we could move to the next slide. So BCCA is fully prepared to work with the city and community partners to support programming during Chinese Heritage Month. And we fully request support in 3 areas: venue support, promotion, as well as continued collaboration. We bring experience, strong community partnerships, and a commitment to meaningful public engagement. Could go to the next slide, please. So in closing, we know that this has the support of United Against Hate Canada, the OCCA Heritage Committee, MPP, the Honorable Charlene Williams, and MP Armandeep Sodhi. And together, let us continue to build a more inclusive, connected, and culturally vibrant city of Brampton for present and future generations. Thank you, and at this time, we wanted to leave you with a short 1-minute video highlighting Chinese culture, BCCA's contribution, and if we could get the video rolling, please.
Councillor Keenan looks pretty happy in this that photo. Now, we've already passed the motion, Councillor Vasante, to recognize this Chinese Heritage Month, but do you like to speak to and share with the delegation what we adopted today?
Yes, thank you very much, and through you, Mayor, special thanks to you, Margaret and Gloria, and the Brampton Chinese Cultural Association for being here. I'd also like to make a special mention of the Brampton Chinese Business Association that was in support of this motion here today. Recognizing the tremendous contributions and tribulations of the Canadian Chinese community, a very important part of our Canadian history, and wanting to express here at the City of Brampton our appreciation. And when we were asked to support the Canada-wide request for our Canadian Parliament to recognize Canadian Chinese Heritage Month, we of course unanimously today supported that motion. We would encourage our members of Parliament to consider the request of the Canadian Chinese community to recognize their contributions to Canada's history and to all of the great work that you do to make Canada, Ontario, and Brampton amazing places to live. Thank you very much.
Well, and thank you for coming here to City Hall today to help us celebrate this unanimous motion. So that takes us to our next item. Actually, need a motion to receive the delegation, though. Moved by Councillor Vasante, second by Councillor Santos. All those in favor, motion carries. Our next item is the delegations for item 15.5, notice of motion for Charlevoix Boulevard bike lanes. And the first delegation is from Lisa Stokes, Brampton resident and passionate active transportation advocate.
Good morning. I respectfully request an additional minute, just because I've got video to play mid.
Moved by Councillor Keenan. Anyone opposed? Seeing none. 6
Thank
minutes.
you. Thank you. Good morning, Mayor Brown and Council. Building bike lanes is about bringing balance to the transportation system. There's a small perceived inconvenience for motorists on the one side, and streets for people and road safety on the other. Bike lanes help minimize risk for both cyclists and drivers. People defending the status quo tend to be noisier than those who want to see change. This is a cognitive bias. In the agenda, there are 28 letters from people who support cycling infrastructure submitted in the last few days, and there were more that didn't make it into the agenda. Many of the residents asked this council to implement the mobility plan as passed. This is not about cars versus bikes. It's about creating a livable city. Next slide, please. I'm a resident who chooses a bike, thank you, who chooses a bike for transportation. I want convenience, comfort, and safety. My route to City Hall takes me on low-volume streets and streets with bike lanes and avoids the arterials. Riding today to City Hall through Ward 10, 9, 7, 1, and 3. Cycling trips do not stop at ward boundaries. This is not a local issue. Eventually, all the bike lanes will form a cycling network. Removing pieces for parking or more car lanes prevents that from happening. Next slide, please. The Shoppers World redevelopment is a major transit station area with the coming of the LRT. It will be a dense neighborhood which will attract residents who don't own cars and should encourage residents of surrounding neighborhoods to travel by active modes. Charolais connects the school, plazas, trails, and parks. The staff report presented data that showed that the bike lanes made it better for drivers as well as cyclists. 3 local Charolais drivers submitted correspondence stating the bike lanes did not substantially change their driving experience. Keeping the bike lanes sets the stage for a complete community at Shoppers World. Next slide, please, and start the video, please.
Hello, my name is Finnegan Earl Livingstone. Do you know about the bike lanes? They have been removed by Brampton's community, but young kids like me, like my friends, we depend on the bike lanes for safety. Taking them out, you shouldn't have done that. You should have let them stay because my friends love going on Howden and Vaughan and bike riding. We love doing bike rides.
Thank you. I'm asking that the network be maintained and expanded for residents like Finn. Last Wednesday, I read this statement from Victoria, a 15-year-old student in Ward 7. Next slide, please. This is Victoria. On her way home from school last Wednesday, on the day that she asked council to make Brampton a better place for cyclists, she was hit by a car and injured. Next slide, please. This is a letter from her father. What happened that day was extremely frightening for our family. Victoria was struck while riding her bicycle, and as a parent, receiving that call was one of the scariest moments imaginable. Victoria suffered injuries to her shoulder. Thankfully, her injuries were limited to bruising and pain. It was also a very traumatizing experience for Victoria emotionally, and something that will stay with her for a long time. Although we are grateful the injuries were not life-threatening, the emotional impact of a child being hit by a car is something no parent or kid should ever have to experience. In a matter of seconds, an ordinary bike ride turned into a terrifying situation filled with fear, panic, and uncertainty. This incident serves as a painful reminder of how important road safety and cyclist protection truly are for every family in our community. Streets are for people, not just for cars. If you build streets for cars, all you'll get are cars. Providing safe space for cyclists in this city can literally be a matter of life and death. Next slide, please. My ask to you this morning, please refer this matter to staff to return with a recommendation and a budget ask before making a decision about the future of Charolais bike lanes. Moving the bike lane into the boulevard at intersections, like Howden Option 4, might address the concerns without reverting the corridor to a 4-lane cross-section. Recognize that building infrastructure in the boulevards requires additional funding over using the road and fund future infrastructure appropriately. Next slide, please. Your convenience shouldn't trump their safety. Thank you.
Thank you for your delegation. And our next two delegations are online. We have Sylvia Roberts online, followed by Justin Kang online. Sylvia?
Good morning, Council. My name is Sylvia Roberts. I'm a resident of Ward 3. I'm very familiar with Charolais. Before the bike lanes were put in, there was a lot of cut-through traffic. And after the bike lanes were put in, there was less cut-through traffic, but there has been more recently. The traffic at Highway 10 in Steeles has caused an absolutely massive traffic snarl. And so what's part of the reason why things seem really bad right now is there is a substantial amount of increased cut-through traffic based on temporary construction, which Metrolink says should be finished next year. I'll believe it when I see it, but it's supposed to go away. Due to the Ford government changes, it's now very difficult to put in bike lanes. So if you take it out, it's very difficult to revisit that in the future. I know the motion has a reference to extending the multi-use path along Steeles. Conceptually, this is a great idea. There's an issue, though, in that Steeles has a bridge over Fletcher's Creek, and unless you want to tear apart the bridge to widen it, or you want to convert lanes on Steeles, which I think traffic operations would be far more opposed to than having bike lanes on Charolais, there isn't really good east-west connectivity through Steeles, and your opportunities other than Charolais would be Elgin or you could go all the way south to Ray Lawson, which is a huge detour. We do have a good trail system, but it's largely a north-south connection system, and our system is overall weak on east-west connectivity, which is exactly what Cheryl is. The previous staff reports have showed that there are benefits to the community, and if you remove these, if you size your roads for rush hour traffic, it helps in rush hour, but the catch is then outside of rush hour, the roads are heavily overbuilt, and the low volume to capacity ratio means you tend to get a ton of speeding. And are there other ways? Yeah, we could put in speed cameras, except those have also been banned. I think staff has previously said they don't like putting speed cushions on 4-lane roads. So other than the current status quo, I don't know of a better situation to deal with speeding. We have temporary cut-through traffic issues due to the construction, but construction eventually finishes. So I would suggest that council talk with staff to get further information about options before removing it, because new legislation means it's very difficult to undo the removal. Thank you. That's my delegation.
Okay, thank you. Our next delegation is from Justin Kane.
Hi, mic check. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, thank you very much. So to clear the air before I begin, just want to let you guys know nobody sent me here. I'm not associated with Bike Brampton. Please listen to me. Don't leave the chamber. I also just want to, before I forget, thank you to Finn, Victoria, who were mentioned earlier in Lisa's delegation, for having the courage of speaking up. I am a resident who has watched every council session this term, and frankly, the reasoning I'm seeing over the removal of Charlie's lanes, and even previous lanes before this, it reminds me of a council from 10 years ago. Back then, transit users who relied on a seamless network, they were ignored in favor of local voices pushing to maintain car culture against the surface LRT. We were treated like second-class citizens by making our lives more difficult, just as cyclists are facing today. We are approaching 1 million residents in population, yet it feels like we have a small-minded, small-town council at times when it comes to some of these decisions. 10 of you voted to rip out the Howden bike lanes 4 months ago. I will state that one of you knew better, acting with compassion, speaking on the facts, seeking a compromise for all sides. All public survey and staff feedback were scrapped to rip everything out. This forced riders into car lanes indefinitely. The protective barriers on Howden are gone. Only painted bike lanes remain to date. There are no congestion issues today. I recommend everyone on council go look today. It has been resolved. That still wasn't enough for this council. Those painted bike lanes also had to go in a scorched earth approach, just like Charlie's is about to be. We're going to be forcing cyclists to fend for themselves in car traffic. There will be no alternative infrastructure, timeline, or money for the multi-use boulevard alternatives during these times of austerity. Let's do the same thing again and again. It didn't just start there, it continued. It's been going on with other parts of the cycling network, but this time, don't even bother with those, surveys and promise of expensive alternatives. We know they won't be coming anytime soon. We also had to create a perfect storm by renewing the e-scooter rental pilot until 2029, as the network is being dismantled. GPS technology doesn't allow them to ride on sidewalks. Their lives are being gambled. I have to ask, when does this crusade end? The trend is clear. I think Vauden is likely to be brought up in these chambers on the chopping block by those spineless enough to cave into such regressive demands. That would destroy the core of this network for good. I don't doubt the scenario. I urge anyone watching to look up the most powerful council session this term from November 13th of 2024. It is public on the city's YouTube channel. Several residents who have suffered serious injuries, they're struggling with the loss of family members in vehicle cycling collisions, came forward to share their stories to this council. Tragically, Their stories have fallen on deaf ears as this council pushes forward to permit more of this suffering on our streets. None of you need to sacrifice public safety to hold your seats this October. Many of these bike lanes, they've existed before 2022. We've already passed a previous election. They never jeopardized an incumbent's chances. There are much, much bigger challenges in this city that you are being judged on for execution that need to be focused on. Reversing this progress isn't a political strategy. It is succumbing to the province's culture war agenda. That's certainly the will of some on council. I'll say that. The RRL program, which was developed by Councillors Keenan and Santos, that was meant to protect human lives from fire traps. It was a great cause. Now, Keenan is taking the lead, turning back on active transportation. I feel it's a betrayal of that same commitment to public safety. When does this network dismantling stop? Look closely at the correspondence names in your agendas today. You have a mix of high-profile active residents who are at opposite ends of the spectrum, who I just have to say, we intensely dislike each other, but we're on the same page, calling out these actions together. So, in conclusion, congratulations for standing, for something so outrageous. You managed to unite us here today against such a reckless decision. And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a motion to receive the delegations from Lisa, Sylvia, and Justin, moved by Councillor Toor, seconded by Councillor Keenan. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to staff presentation. This item was held by Councillor Paleshi for the Heart Lake Turtle Troopers delegation. And we have Carly, Supervisor Wetlands, Environmental Projects, Environmental Development Engineering, who will provide a presentation. And we love turtles in the city of Brampton.
Okay. All right. Good morning, Mayor Brown, members of council, staff, and attendees. We're here today to provide an update on the May 20th delegation provided to Committee of Council from the Heart Lake Turtle Troopers. We'll walk through some of the immediate actions staff have identified, as well as a few longer-term opportunities. Next slide, please. So staff have reviewed the requests brought forward through the delegation and organized them into several key themes as seen on the slide. In the short term, staff have identified opportunities relating to fishing and enhanced signage communications, short-term funding support for turtle conservation efforts, grant eligibility, and future partnership work. Next slide, please. Okay, I will continue to proceed without the slide. Oh, there you go. Could you go back one? There we go. Thank you. During the delegation, the Turtle Troopers asked the city to provide them with support with locating funding opportunities to support the START program, which the Turtle Troopers rely on for funding for training, excavation of eggs, incubation, and raising turtles. This program is run by a nonprofit organization based out of Aurelia, and they're facing a funding deficit. Staff are requested to look back into this matter to identify potential funding sources. Staff have identified $15,000 in development-related fees collected for the management and maintenance of the natural heritage system. Turtles are an important species of aquatic and terrestrial ecosystems, and their protection and conservation directly aligns with Brampton Plan and our Brampton Grow Green Environmental Master Plan. Should council wish, staff can be directed to proceed with the budget amendment in the amount of $15,000 to support turtle conservation and rehabilitation efforts in the city. Additionally, should council desire, staff can also consider grant opportunities for which the city can apply on behalf of or in partnership with the Turtle Troopers, where eligibility requirements prevent volunteer-based community groups to apply directly. Next slide, please. Another item on the delegation was concerns related to fishing activity within Brampton's environmentally sensitive water bodies, specifically the Donnelly Ponds and Loafers Lake. Fishing in Brampton is regulated through a combination of provincial and city legislation, specifically City Park Lands Bylaw 161-83, and fishing-related offenses under this bylaw are enforced by the Provincial Offences Act. Fishing is currently permitted at Professor's Lake, Eldorado Park, Pearl Lake North and South, as well as promoted at Heart Lake Conservation Area, which has a Learn to Fish program. As seen on this slide, staff have already installed no fishing signage in several sensitive locations. However, we recognize that there's an opportunity to improve clarity, consistency, and public understanding. Staff are proposing a more coordinated approach that includes clearer signage, updated webpage information on brampton.ca, and broader public education around responsible fishing and environmental stewardship. Staff can also work with the province, who currently has a Fish Online tool, specifically the MNRF, that shows locations that the city is not actually permitting. And ultimately, our goal is to better balance recreational use with the protection of sensitive habitats. Next slide, please. Regarding this item, council directed staff to explore recognition opportunities along Heart Lake Road, considering the ecological significance of the road and the longstanding stewardship support of the Turtle Troopers. Staff are currently working in consultation with ward councilors and the Turtle Troopers to develop signage along Heart Lake Road between Mayfield and Sandalwood, and will be anticipating installation of said signage by Q3 2026. Next slide, please. And lastly, the delegation also requested that environmental initiatives be considered through the next round of the Advanced Brampton Fund, ABF, as well as exploration of a temporary satellite incubation location. Should council desire, staff can be directed to consider the inclusion of an environmental stewardship stream as part of the future review of the Advanced Brampton Fund that's scheduled later this year. And regarding a potential incubation location, due to the complexity of selecting an appropriate location, we are continuing to explore this request and are in discussion with external organizations and can report back once a location is identified. Next slide, please. Overall, staff have identified a number of immediate and longer-term opportunities for council consideration. We'd be happy to take any questions from council. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Pelletier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks, Carly. Thanks, Pam. Really appreciate the work that you did. You know, in the short time that we requested some information, you came back, you worked hard, you met with everybody that needed to be met with, and you brought back a lot of great information. Super happy to support the motion that was provided to me by staff. And if we can have that on the board. That also being said, though, I think it's important that, you know, you have members of council, Councilor Brar, Councilor Santos, you sit on TRCA still too? They both sit on TRCA. And I'm sure there's the advocation for Turtle Troopers that is being had by these two amazing counselors, and maybe we can just try and get together and ask for a little bit more. It's always better to see if we can get a little bit more. Also, there's a couple counselors that sit at CVC that I think are pretty awesome too, that can also be advocates for anything that is that westerly watershed, and hopefully that there's some support that we can get out of Credit Valley Conservation Authority as well. So I think this is fantastic news. I know it isn't the 30,000 that we wanted. We're halfway there. Let's keep going, and I think that I think we'll get there. I strongly feel that, you know, the rest of it is to come. So thank you very much for the information. Have the motion there, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, moved by Councilor Pelletier, seconded by Councilor Brar. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you for your dedication to our turtles.
Thank you.
This takes us to the clerk. Yeah, and I believe there was one correspondence item that was held, right, Councilor? Yep. Okay.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. So I did submit some correspondence in a similar way that I submitted correspondence regarding the Howden issue as well. And I wanted, in the correspondence, I provided an explanation regarding why I specifically support the existence of the Charlotte Boulevard bike lanes. And a lot of it has to do with equity and safety, but also the fact that our council, for many years, and most recently last year, voted unanimously for the Brampton Mobility Plan. And so, Madam Clerk, if I may, if you could just please put up the PowerPoint, the slides. I just wanted to remind council and just also the public some of the things that we have voted on, which, and I get it, I get it. Listen, Councilor Vicente and I get questions and concerns from residents who think that the congestion in some of the network pieces are due to the bike lanes. But the reality is, as Sylvia Roberts shared in her delegation earlier, there's a lot of construction happening in Brampton right now. And in many ways, the congestion from the construction on Queen Street, on Williams Parkway, on Church Street, on Main Street, they are being diverted into areas like Vaughan, Howden, as well as a Charolais, because people are looking for alternative routes, people who are driving looking for alternative routes. And I do believe that when Williams Parkway, for example, is done construction, some of that congestion is going to be gone. And certainly in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, before that construction started happening, we didn't see those levels of congestion on those roads. And I understand that it's hard. It is hard to maintain the integrity in what we voted for, because change is hard. And like I said in the last meeting, when we start implementing change, people think that we don't need the change. But just so folks recall, these are all the different plans. So Vision 2040, Vision Zero, the Active Transportation Master Plan, the Complete Streets guidelines that talks about livable communities and streets for people, the Grow Green Environmental Master Plan, the Community Energy and Emissions Reduction Plan, the Brampton Plan, and the Brampton Mobility Plan. All of these plans were voted on unanimously by us on council. And I don't want, and like I shared last week, I'm not the active transportation champion. We all are. We all should be. And Madam Clerk, if you could go to the next screen, and sorry, the next one. A lot of the delegates and a lot of the correspondence that was shared is talking about this. We are absolutely a growing city. And the active transportation network is so important to achieving that mode share target. We're asking just to increase the mode share target by 2%, go from 9% to 11%. And these main pieces of the corridor, particularly the east-west network and connection, are incredibly important in order to achieve those targets. We passed this. We said yes to getting to 11%. We said yes to creating a balance for safety and equity reasons. We had crossing guards celebrating Crossing Guard Month here today, a proclamation talking about protecting the vulnerable users of our road. We just lost speed cameras. We cannot put speed bumps everywhere. We know that road diets work, narrowing the roads in order to protect vulnerable users of the road. It works. It also decreases cut-through traffic and speeding. All the science and data is there. And at the same time, I do appreciate that all of us face pressure from residents who don't necessarily understand the bigger picture in what we are trying to achieve. But that's the reason why I added this again as correspondence, is to remind folks that, you know, this is not just a localized issue. This is about the future of our city. and trying to create a network that is more balanced and equitable and creates alternatives for people outside of just driving around the city. And I don't want to put drivers up against cyclists because I'm a driver too. But I'm also a cyclist and I see people using the infrastructure more and more. We can't ignore the correspondence from the residents. We can't ignore the video delegation from the young man and the kids and the families who are using the infrastructure. There's a trend and an uptake of people who are using it. And I know that, you know, for example, last week we dealt with Clockwork Drive, and folks are also pointing to Royal West Drive and Elber Merkel, where we changed that to urban shoulders. But what I will say is that when it comes to the priorities in the network, Howden and Charolais, that east-west corridor, those things are so significant in order to keep cyclists safe, people who are using e-scooters safe, people who are using accessible mobility devices like mobility wheelchairs safe, in order to access everything else in the network. So Madam Clerk, if you could go to slide 7. Next one. Next one. Yeah. So Clockwork Drive had an alternative. Councillor Brar, Councillor Paleshi, you presented that alternative. In Ward 5, where Councillor Vicente and I represent, we met with the cyclists, we met with the residents, and we found that compromise together. And that the fact is that Mississauga Road has already a multi-use path that runs north and south, parallel to Royal West Drive, parallel to Elber Merkel. So when we worked with the community and also the active transportation advocates, it was okay for us. We came to the realization that was okay because there was already an alternative route existing. The challenge that we have with some of these east-west corridors, particularly Howden, so this Sunday I ran the marathon, the 10K, and I drove my car to Chinguacousy Park to run the 10K. And as I was driving along Vaudin, there was the separated bike lanes. And then when I approached Howden and turned on Howden, there was nothing. It was literally a dead end for cyclists with no path anymore in order to continue safely to Chinguacousy Park. And that piece, as you see, I circled it in the network. There's no alternative right now. I know we put in the motion that we're going to put sharrows. There are no sharrows there right now. I believe we put in the motion looking at the cycle tracks and the boulevards on the side. That is not there right now. And in order to change culture, in order to maintain the mobility plan, we have to make sure that the network stays connected, especially on the east-west connections, as identified it on the priority active transportation network. Which brings me to Charolais. As you can see from this map, Steeles Avenue is a regional road. And I'm not sure whether or not we'll be able to have a full connection of a multi-use path on Steeles anytime soon. Charolais is the only connection that we have right now. And I know that there is a motion on the floor to remove them. I'm asking and hoping that we not do that yet. Let's not, for the people who have spent years volunteering and encouraging people to take the active transportation network, for all the policies and the plans that we have voted on unanimously to support the network. If we get rid of it immediately, like what we did to Howden, that piece of the network is gone on the east-west corridor. And people will start driving their cars again, and all the work that we've done to start to change behavior, encourage people to choose other options other than the car, we're going to reverse ourselves. And then construction will end. Construction will be over. People are going to take the main arterial roads drive on main arterial roads, Vauden, Queen, all the other areas that are under construction. And guess what? That congestion will likely be gone because people are going to be driving through those main roads again and not using these inner roads like Charolais or Howden or Vauden. So I guess what I'm saying is, I'm probably going to lose this vote again. I'm hoping that my colleagues in Wards 3 and 4 will consider making an amendment to at least hold it for now until we could find a better way forward. I think the best way forward is actually a multi-use path on Charolais. I would ask that the mayor consider a budget item in order to pay for that we advocate to the province to pay for that. If it is indeed necessary to bring Charolais back to the 4 roads of traffic. However, if we go to slide number 8, the next slide, the before and after the road diet on Charolais shows that, in fact, it was after the bike lanes were installed that speeding, congestion, and everything else decreased. So I don't want to get back to that. I would actually like to maintain what science and data uphold. And then the final slide is number 10. If we could go to slide 10. This is what I guess some of the delegates were also referring to. We as council extended the pilot program for e-scooters. And if we take out Charolais, keeping in mind Charolais is also just north of Sheridan College, where students in particular use the e-scooters, they use their bikes to get to Sheridan College. If we remove this, then most certainly the pilot program is going to be impacted in terms of the usage of e-scooter pilots, because it is going to be unsafe for scooters, the e-scooter pilot program, to be using the road, and certainly they can't use the sidewalk. And this is the reason why the east-west corridor is important, and why I maintain my integrity with respect to everything we voted for in the past, as well as consistent with my vote on the Howden bike lanes. But respectfully, I understand the pressure. I have it too. But we're a smart council and a group of people that I'm sure for Charolais we could find a path forward that still maintains the safety of all road users and doesn't put drivers up against cars. That's not what this is about. This is about the bigger picture. And Madam Clerk, if you could go back to that first slide with all the Vision Zero, mobility plan, all these different things, very first, that we voted for. And the environment and sustainability. And I think that if we're on this path to dismantle the network with no alternatives, particularly on the east-west corridors, then I would like to get an update on the mobility plan as to how that impacts us achieving our targets to get to 11%. Because we have to be honest with ourselves. We're either, I think Councillor Palleschi mentioned it before, we're either going to support this stuff or we're not. We can't say yes to all of these plans, policies, expect staff to implement everything, and then when people are afraid because they see the change happening, we reverse our decisions and take the network apart piece by piece. Listen, here's another example, Riverwalk. We advocated for Riverwalk, had plans for Riverwalk forever. And now that construction is happening, Councillor Vicente and I are getting a lot of residents who are not happy and saying, why did we do this? We were not consulted, et cetera, et cetera. And it's hard, but at the end of it, the Riverwalk's going to be incredible. And we all know that. Imagine if we listened to the voices saying, we don't want this anymore, and said, okay, stop construction on the Riverwalk. That's just not gonna work. So that's why I submitted the correspondence. I wanted to make sure it was on record, and I'm hoping that my colleagues in wards 3 and 4 will really take that into consideration, because it is about safety and equity. And this piece of the network, east-west, is so important. And I maintain my stance as I did with respect to Howden, because right now, nothing is on Howden to protect and keep vulnerable users of the road safe. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Santos. I have a motion to receive the correspondence moved by Councillor Santos, second by Councillor Basante. All those in favor, the motion carries. And I would just say, Councillor Santos, that I showed more discretion than allowing this to be an elaborate discussion that relates to the motion that's coming up. But I think you had a lot to share, and Council certainly wants to make sure that everyone has their perspective heard. And of course, if there is budget amendments required to have a complete transportation network, I've said before, we'll find those funds if there's missing links to find solutions. This takes us to our next item, and to the clerk. The motion, okay. The motion, moved by Councillor Keenan, seconded by Councillor Medeiros. And the first up is Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you. When we make decisions on these things, they're not made lightly. They're not. This isn't something that came up a week ago or a day ago for Councillor Medeiros and myself. I heard it while knocking the doors at the beginning of the election, to which I said, we will look at it. One of Councillor Medeiros and I's first conversations when we were both, after inauguration, sitting in the office, we said, we have to look at all the complaints that came in and around the Charlotte bike lanes. 3.5 years ago. 3.5 years, we've held town halls. We've put out surveys. Starting in the summer of last year, we knocked every single door along the corridor. Over 1,000, I think it was. Every single door was knocked. We have results, and I'll read through the results. And I've heard, today and previously about, we can't ignore the correspondence from the residents. We also can't ignore the residents that live in the area. It's what we're elected to do, is to listen and be the voice of those people. So when we do a survey on the bike lanes with the residents directly impacted by it, and 578 people do that survey, 482 of them say no to bike lanes on Charlotte. Well, 96 of them said yes. So even though they're not in favor of the bike lanes on Charlotte, 38% of them are still in favor of bike lanes. Councillor Medeiros and I have people that are very active cyclists that live in our wards. Specifically a couple that we talk to all the time that I see riding everywhere that told me they don't want the Charlotte bike lanes because they don't feel safe on it. So we are listening, we are doing the work, we are trying to figure out a good balance. Now, I have spoke to people last night, I spoke with Councillor Santos numerous times, I spoke with other councillor colleagues. We have to make decisions, and we are for active transportation. We want to keep this connectivity. We will figure out how to do it. The current Charlotte currently has Sharrows at the beginning of it. We're not taking into account that we also have a full bike lane 2 streets over to the south that goes from McLaughlin to Huron, Ontario. So that connectivity is already there. Then we have Steeles. So we're looking at how do we complete this? Last night, as late as almost midnight, I was on the phone with Minister Sakaria, asking if he'd be willing to look at funding on how we can put it onto the boulevard on Charlotte. This isn't something we're just saying take it out and there's going to be nothing there. We're actively looking at how we can do it. I do drive the road. And I'll be honest, I've seen more cars in the lanes than I have bikes. That's a driver issue. That's not something that I'm debating. That is the problem of the driver. However, it's not safe. I'll be the first one to say that I'm a father of 4 children who I would never allow to ride bikes on those lanes. Never. So when we talk about road safety, we also have to look at this. An experienced cyclist, sure, can use Charlet. But should our youth be using it? If anyone can sit here and say yes, I'm sorry, I can't. So I am taking safety into consideration when making these decisions. Would I like to see it on the boulevard? Absolutely. Can we do it in a way that may be affordable? For sure. Considerations of one lane the same, north and south, going in those same directions as traffic. That could fit on there. Do we need to have it from Charlet to McLaughlin because we have the other one? That'll be for staff to let us know. We said the immediate removal. Willing to do that to the end of August. I don't want to pass it by the end of August, given the fact that kids are going to be going back to school, and that should give us some time to hear about what other alternates can be. The region has a responsibility here too on Steeles, so we got to go there and figure that out too. This isn't about trying to rip apart a system. This is about listening to our residents, listening to the cyclists as well, and finding what that balance is. And I know that doing it today makes you feel like it's a loss. It's not. Every program, I can't think of anything that we've implemented, any plan, that hasn't been changed. For instance, Charlotte used to be 4 lanes. We made a change. We put bike lanes on it. It's a very good example of changes have to happen. When things are implemented that don't work, it changes. The RRL that myself and Councillor Santos put in place was spoken about today, and it said that we were leading on that. We made many changes after that was done. We had to revert back and look at how it didn't work. There is no difference in this scenario. So this isn't about not wanting active transportation. This is not about trying to rip apart a system. This is about really looking at how we can make it work for everybody and making sure that we would do it in a way that keeps people safe. So I have had the conversation with the minister. I'm going to add on to this motion that the mayor write a letter to the Minister of Transportation, who is the local MPP, to request funding to whatever degree, support, doesn't have to be all of it, but to support us in moving them from the road to the boulevard. I also want to amend the motion to where it states that it would be immediate to the end of August. That way, obviously, summer is upon us, so hopefully we'll have some of these answers by then on what the path forward is going to be. And once they are removed, sharrows to be added immediately so that we still have the ability to ride the bikes on the road for those experienced people that are going to be using the road. Again, I don't believe that road is for children. When I cycle with my kids, I physically drive to the fire station on Vauden, and I get out of the fire station, out of the truck, and I take the bikes to the trail. That's where I feel my kids are safe. I don't think they're safe even on the regular roads on the sidewalk sometimes. So when we talk about the work that's gone into it from Councillor Medeiros and my standpoint, it isn't about the last 2 weeks, the last 3 weeks. We've spent the better part of a year door knocking that community. We've taken everything into consideration and account here that we believe is best for the wards 3 and 4 and an ability to still keep connectivity. So I understand Councillor Santos's points about making sure that we're keeping it all connected. It's been well heard. We do have connectivity from McLaughlin to Huron, Ontario. That connectivity is still there. There's a bike lane on Herald. That is existing. So what we're really talking about is McLaughlin to Jacuzzi. So is that going to be put onto Elgin? Someone can tell us that. So the connectivity will remain in that corridor. It's just how we're going to make it stay and what is the best way forward. So I see that you have picked up on, Councilor Medeiros and I have discussed these. I just don't want this to be oh, you're ripping it apart, you're doing it. We're all trying to work together We all get complaints. We act on those complaints. We're trying to do something that everyone across here is doing, looking at how it affects the community while keeping it all together. And I think that's what we've done here. I'm satisfied with it. And I know Councilor Medeiros is on the board and wants to speak. So I will give it up to Councilor Medeiros. But just before I do it, keep in mind, 4,500 units are coming to the corner of Steeles, and it was said in the delegation, to the corner of Steeles in here, Ontario. That's going to bring a lot of cars, whether you like it or not. Cars are coming with those 4,500 units. Developers understand that they can't sell a unit without a parking spot in the city of Brampton because we've had all of those conversations with them. So for me, yes, we would like to see less cars, but it's going to bring some. Even if it brings 1,000 cars, even if it's 0.3, there will be cars, there will be underground parking, there will be many more vehicles that are going to be using this corridor. We have to take everything into consideration when making these decisions, and I think that's what we've done. So I'm happy to move the motion at the appropriate time, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Keenan, and Councillor Medeiros, you're next.
Thank you through Mr. Acting Mayor. I appreciate, first of all, I want to say I'm fully supportive. Thank you, Councillor Keenan, for introducing the motion. We worked on this, and actually it's probably our first issue that got us to work together. Through this whole process, and not to go in retrospect, during COVID is when we really went aggressive in trying to implement opportunities for implementing bike lanes or temporary lanes. And part of it was to get a learning. When Charlet was implemented, I came to council to speak about some of those concerns to staff, the way that it was, we saw it on a map, but there was no consultation previously when it was implemented. It was one day to the next. Residents were calling me. And I say this respectfully, and it's not to say anything. There's probably no one in this building that goes on Charlet, that walks by Charlet, that drives by Charlet more than me in this building. And I say this respectfully. I know every single street, every single neighbors that have been there for over 30 years, raised there, family friends there. So I heard it all. During the process, and this is why we were so careful to engage, I actually wanted to hope when we went out to go door knocking and do our survey, because we wanted to make it evidence-based, I really wanted it to be flipped. I really wanted to see 80% in support, 20% against, because effectively it would make my job easier. Because that was probably top 3 issues I would always hear, obviously property tax, but that's probably one of the top issues. What do we do about Charlet? When we talk about environmental impacts, and this has always resonated with me, where a senior who lives off the corner of Parkside basically said to me, if we're trying to help with bike lanes and we say we have environmental goals, the increased idling during rush hour, how are we measuring and capturing that environmental impact? And do we? Do you follow that? And again, I'm not an expert when it comes to these fields. The one thing I've resented about this process, and I say this respectfully, I had one of the delegations even that spoke today made comments to the effect on social media that because of my weight, I probably would not never been on a bike. And one thing I found very interesting in this whole process, I've always been advocating for active transportation. I've never been against it. And every single one here on this table, besides I believe 9 and 10, have made changes to the mobility plan. And the justification I always hear, well, we consulted with our residents, but no one's done a more thorough consultation than myself and Councillor Keenan. Nobody. No one went out, no one brought it to town halls, no one engaged with the community, no one engaged with the cycling community, no one engaged more with residents. So if I was to sit here and make a decision and say, well, we're not going to make any changes to the mobility plan, I'm not going to listen to all my residents. That would be quite smug of me of my role as a councillor who's there to listen to my residents. And one thing Councillor Keenan and myself agreed to with residents, being accountable to our residents, was we will look at this and we will do a proper consultation. We will try to make it evidence-based. We will ensure that we try to find the best answer. So here we are today. Instead of me feeling that I still want to promote active transportation, it's almost like I'm villainized in a way where I did not, we're trying to find a solution. I want to work with everyone. I want to implement this plan. And the last thing, which is, you know, a red herring, the most important plan we have at the city is our official plan when it comes to planning. We amend it every day. There's not one person at this table that hasn't amended it, hasn't voted for amendments. So to sit here and say we've introduced policies before, we introduce policies all the time. But what would we be doing if we ignored our residents? We might as well go home. We just let bureaucrats write their plans, run the city, and then we don't have to be here. Why have councillors? So essentially we're here and this is our role. It's not a role, it's a role we choose, it's a role that we honor, it's a role that's a privilege. And we're here simply trying to find that solution to maintain the integrity of the system, to maintain the safety, but at the same time, we're trying to adapt and reflect what our residents want. I will tell you just anecdotally, I'm not an expert or anything. I tell you, I walk that place every day, Charlotte. I cut through behind Centennial Park, I go up, I walk to Shoppers World to my Tim Hortons, I go up Main Street and up Elgin back to where I live. Every day. I go drive, visit my family, every day, 3-4 times. So my issue being is when I hear people tell me about, you know, there's one thing that you can present all the stats you want. I could tell you anecdotally who's riding that bike. And maybe because of my weight issue, I probably look at the steep hill that there's no way I can get up that. So I'm not a regular cyclist. So someone who's leisurely that we're trying to introduce to the cycling community doesn't have an easy time going up that hill. So that's why the explanation of an e-bike makes sense, because to go up that hill is not for anyone. So when you look at Elgin as a possibility, and this is just someone who, again, walks by Elgin every day, who says, wow, this seems like an easier. I may be totally wrong. We're going to work with our staff. But what I do not like, the way that this council is feeling, and every single one, I won't speak for them, but I do recognize everyone's here trying to do the same thing. We want to be active. Let's all support it. But the way that we've been villainized on an issue where we're trying to find that happy balance, I think is unfair. And the characterizations is unfair. It's like any issue, any plan that we implement, we do it to the best of the city. We want the city. I would love to sit here today and say that out of 573 residents, 450 say we love cycling, we love Charlotte Boulevard. So the major takeaway, and I think Councillor Keenan was very eloquent raising that. Majority of our residents oppose Charlotte, but we had almost like 38% who said they support the system. They just don't support it on Charlotte the way it is. It is not safe. No one feels comfortable going there. And I'm sorry, I maybe is not as developed or maybe is not as technical in riding a bike. I assume when we build a system that it's for everyone and everyone will feel safe. How dare we tell someone else how they should feel, how should they not feel about riding on a bike lane on Charlotte where majority of my residents say they don't feel active. So we're building a system for who? For people from everywhere else, and my own residents can't use that system. Who would I be? I'm not a smug council. I'm not sitting here to tell them what they should like or not like. I'm here to be their voice. We brought this decision. We want to work together. Councillor Keenan has worked so hard on this. I want to recognize the leadership on this, reaching out to the minister, being very careful and thoughtful. To our staff, countless amount of hours. Our staff has been diligent on this. Countless conversations, trying to deal with our staff to try to promote this. And this is where we are today. So I really want us to leave here today to say it's not this council that is against active transportation. We're adapting to local needs. We want to work together. If you find me a better solution where people feel safe, if you find it, this is where we are. And unfortunately, as much as we educate, you know, we've given it 4 years, this term of council, and the reason we're pulling the plug, because 4 years, all we hear from residents is that we've done nothing. We've done nothing. You ignore us. You don't listen to us. And here we are today. So I thank you again. I hope council can support it. And I don't want to turn this into us against them, because obviously this is only effective if we're a good partnership. You know, I can't tell people what to do. As same as I'm not a big cricket fan. I would rather have soccer fields across the city, but I respect people love cricket, and I respect that's where the growing trend. So who am I to tell people what they should like or not feel safe or don't feel safe? So I leave it on that. Thank you, Councillor Keenan, for that. I do thank Councillor Santos for her thoughtful comments. But ultimately, I don't want to get into this debate of what we do or what we don't, but we always change and amend plans to reflect our local needs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Medeiros, for that passionate speech. And I see the board is filling up, and we've had a number of passionate discussions on active transportation, maybe too passionate sometimes, and it almost feels like this is an issue that divides council. And I would say, after speaking to members of council, I think we're actually a lot closer to being on the same page than it may appear from the passion of these comments. And I've just spoke to the mover of the motion. And I want to put this out there before we continue this debate for another hour, that I'd be happy to support a budget amendment. We can get that back quickly on what the cost would be to have the boulevards added in these two missing links, Charleway and Howden. I get what Councillor Santos is saying, that you have to have a connected active transportation footprint. But I also get the ward councillors are the ones who hear the feedback from the residents they represent, and it's their duty to relay that concern. And so normally we don't like the added cost that this would present, but if this is what's required for the integrity of our active transportation system, then we can put this into the motion, and maybe this gets us all on the same page, and we can have a motion that we all agree on, and Councillor Keenan has said he is agreeable with that, and so that there be a budget amendment to allow for the moving of the lanes to the boulevard, and that a report back come to council as quickly as possible. The wording needs to be, the wording needs to be wordsmith there, but I think that's the general sentiment, and thank you, Councillor Power, for that suggestion. Back to the board. We have Councillor Santos, Councillor Tour, Councillor Pelletier, Councillor Keenan, but in light of the agreement from Councillor Santos and Keenan and everyone, maybe we can diminish this debate, we could expedite the debate a little bit. Councillor Santos.
Thank you through Mr. Chair, and thank you, Councillor Medeiros, for those words. And you're absolutely right with respect to policies and plans. We make amendments all the time. And I think that this compromise that Mayor Brown is actually suggesting through Councillor Power, because this budget amendment would relate to Howden as well as Charolais, is my understanding. It is honestly, it might be the best compromise. And if we could implement that ASAP, that would be ideal. Because to Councillor Medeiros' point, he's right. Like if you're a cyclist and you don't feel safe riding the infrastructure, then you can't change how they feel, right? And I know that Charolais also was supposed to be a protected bike lane. They were in the ATMP to be a protected bike lane. At the same time, having a separate multi-use path or cycle track would be even safer. It would be safer for the cyclists. It would be safer for the other vulnerable users of the road. And so if council can all get on board to prioritize a budget amendment to make this happen, understanding that residents always say, it's not like we're against the bike lanes. We support the bike lanes. It's just not safe here. It shouldn't be here. Perhaps the compromise, despite the cost, is ensuring that there is ASAP, that multi-use path available on both those pieces of the network. Okay, so if that amendment happens, that would be great. Understanding as well, eyes wide open, it does need to be expedited because safety is at risk at the moment. And understanding that if we can still wait until August as per what the motion says right now. That will allow us the time for folks to, over the summer at the very least, utilize the connected network. And then the only other piece that I would add is if staff could also, in the motion, that if staff can also report back an update on what that means for the mobility plan implementation in the short, medium, and long term. So if we've taken many steps forward, now we're taking a few steps back, and we're trying to take another step forward. So what does that mean in terms of short, medium, long term? Because what we don't want to do, we want to see the light at the end of the tunnel, meaning the safest infrastructure for equity and safety, for drivers, for cyclists, for all the active transportation users. We're not going to get there until X number of years. What do we do in the meantime? We have to ensure that there's education so that people know that there's a plan to get there, because we don't want to have people lose faith in the entire network and what we are trying to achieve. So those are, I support that amendment. I would support, and I want to also add an amendment that staff report back an update on the mobility plan, the impact on the mobility plan in the short, medium, long term.
The sound of everyone getting on the same page. So Councillor Santos, that completes your? Yeah. And now we have Councillor Pelletier.
No,
Sorry,
no.
did I miss one?
Councillor Tour was before me.
Oh, in the screen it has you behind.
It kind of switched for a
Okay.
second.
Councillor Tour.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Brown. First of all, thank you, Councillor Medeiros, for speaking so passionately and sharing. And what I can say is I echo the same voice. I know many on this table do, so thank you for sharing that with everybody. I'm fully supportive of this motion. As I see it on the screen, I was going to suggest that budget amendment. I mean, Councillor Power was talking about this idea right now that we should, here's what the feedback that I get from my residents. And thank you for also acknowledging that Ward Sandton has not made changes to our bike lanes. We've made slight tweaks to some designs in some areas. But when I hear from my residents any of that feedback, that's what makes it possible. And one feedback that I've heard, whether it was regarding Howden or now it is regarding Charlotte Boulevard, is that we need to see where those dollars are going to get spent. That's where I supported Howden as well on the multi-use pathway. I think that is a great way to move forward, and I would happily support that on Charlotte as well. And if we can do that through a budget amendment that's actually going to happen sooner than future, I'm happy to see this happening. So thank you for all the work on this.
Councillor Pelletier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Medeiros, Councillor Keenan, bravo. I've never seen Wards 3 and 4 work so well together. First, I'd like to say, you both spoke extremely eloquently. You certainly know what your residents want. Kudos to you. Councillor Medeiros, I'm sorry that you were body shamed. The attacks on you, I've been there. I know how that feels. And I'll take you back to the LRT vote, where, I was attacked personally by people in this chambers, actually. It was people that are actually taking pictures of me here today. And I can tell you, though, what you guys are doing, and if I go back to where we were on the LRT vote, ultimately, it lost 6-5 at that time. But look where we are today. With the mayor's work that he's done, we're getting a tunnel. So I look at what you guys are doing and the potential that you have. And I know that you two won't stop here. You'll make sure that it's bigger and better for everybody, not only your residents, but the cyclists that are going to traverse through that area. And I certainly support anything that you're looking to do on Steeles in terms of any type of budget. I've said it to you before, both of you. You need my support on recreation, you got it. You need my support today on cycling or transportation on Steeles. I'm happy to support you also as well today. So I think kudos to both of you, the work that you've done. Happy to support this. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Councillor Santos.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair, just for clarification. It says Charlotte immediately be converted. I think Councillor Keenan, you said for it to be completed at the end of August or done end of August versus immediately.
So you can remove the word immediately.
So remove the word immediately. Charlotte Boulevard be converted back to 4 lanes of traffic at the end of August, Councillor Keenan?
By the end of August, yeah.
By the end of August, okay. And then the other thing that I had added as an amendment is for staff to report back on with an update on the mobility plan and the implications of Howden and Charlotte, and the impact on the short, medium, and longer term, like just an update on what that mobility plan looks like. Because we're targeting 9 to 11% for 2051. And if we're moving forward, then back, then forward, then back, what that looks like.
Councillor Keenan?
Oh, no, Mayor Brown.
Commissioner.
Commissioner Ganesh, I asked.
Through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councillor Santos, just in a quick huddle with staff here. We feel we could report back at the June 24th council meeting on the costs for Charlotte, the missing links on Howden, and a high-level impact on the Brampton Mobility Plan modal splits. That would then inform the amounts for the budget amendment. And in working with Public Works, we could then refine costs to remove any bike lanes on Charlotte before the end of August.
Yeah, just to be clear, it's Howden and Charlotte.
Yes, through
Yeah.
you, Mayor Brown, that's what I said.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect, thank you.
Councillor Keenan?
Just to wrap it up, I just want to say thanks to everybody, to all of our residents that took part, to the cycling community that is always here advocating for active transportation. Thank you. Thank you to staff. I think we have something great here. I think it's ultimately we're going to have something safer along Charlotte, and it'll be here in the very near future. So we hope that everyone is going to be happy with what we've done here today, and I hope that we can continue to look at ways to improve our network. And thank you, Mayor Brown, for being able to go out there and find us that funding.
Deputy Mayor?
I'm not going to repeat what Councillor Keenan said, exactly bang on, but I will ask for a recorded vote because I do stand by this. Thank you.
Okay. To the clerk. Standing vote.
Through Mayor Brown, the motion as amended is on screen. All those in favor, please rise. And for a recorded vote, I see Councillor Medeiros, Councillor Fortini, Councillor Power, Councillor Tour, Deputy Mayor Singh, Mayor Brown, Councillor Keenan, Councillor Paleshi, Councillor Brar, Councillor Vicente, and Councillor Santos. Unanimous vote.
Okay, this takes us to our next item, to the clerk. Oh, okay, 16.2. So this is in discussion with Councillor Keenan and Councillor Medeiros. We provided this funding in this year's budget, but at the suggestion of our rec staff, we could expedite this renovation in the same manner we did for the candidates at Century Gardens by having the local affiliated organizations take responsibility for this renovation that they will be utilizing themselves, of course, in conjunction with our city staff to make sure it meets the integrity of what is expected in a city facility. I believe this is moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Medeiros and Keenan. If there's any questions, I believe Bill Boyce can answer them. Councillor Paleshi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So just seeing this, unfortunately, for the first time, I'm going to need to refer this to staff and ask for some information to come back, as Credit River Capitals isn't affiliated with Brampton and not affiliated with Brampton Minor Hockey. It's a separate association that picked up from Brampton Hockey. crushed, actually, Brampton hockey our attendance. Now, fortunately for Brampton minor hockey, the attendance in your son's ages, Mayor Brown, are increasing, which is fantastic. But we lost the AAA, we lost the AAA status. So would look for, hopefully support in terms of, the other 3 municipalities that's within that catchment area to hopefully come to the table and provide some support in this as well. So in terms of an advocate, something. And so I'd like to see if we can just refer this back to staff and certainly come back with, how much is it going to cost? And then is there other opportunities, other levels always would be helpful, but also reaching out to the other municipalities within the Credit River catchment area.
So,
thank you, Mr. Mayor.
yeah, and maybe I could help clarify, and Councillor Keenan can as well. The refurbishment of the changing rooms, which was in the budget, was the city doing the refurbishment. This is our own facility, just like we did for the candidates. But instead of us procuring the refurbishment, it would be these organizations doing so to expedite it so it's ready for the start of the season in September. And obviously, this is our facility, we control it, but this was what we've already approved. It's just about who procures this refurbishment. If the Credit River Capitals, in conjunction with Brampton Hockey, do so, and we have an agreement with the 2 of them to work with the city, that it could be done for September. Otherwise, it won't be ready for September. So I would hope the council could adopt this. And of course, we, as a different topic, can work with Credit River to make sure that they are supportive of the growth of hockey in Brampton and not in a manner that diminishes Brampton hockey. But because this request comes from Credit River and Brampton hockey in conjunction, I think we have the collaborative spirit going at this moment. Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Yeah, I was just going to state that this was change room refurbishment was already part of the budget. This is just about who's going to implement those changes. So you said it. Councilor Medeiros and myself were happy with it in the way that it was presented to us through staff. So happy to move forward with it, but also happy to make sure all councilors have what they need.
Councillor Tour.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Brown. And just similar to what Councilor Palashi actually said, if Commissioner Boyce, can you just clarify, like, this is a little bit confusing here. So this is our capital budget, our facility, but the hockey team is going to go out and do the procurement?
Through the Mayor to Councilor Tour. So this is very similar to the candidates, that the BHI and Credit River Capitals will facilitate the upgrades within the change rooms. And again, these change rooms will be all 4 on each rink, and they'll be available for community use. They're not a sole dedicated use just for the minor hockey teams. If you rent the ice, if you go play there, it's to upgrade the dressing rooms. By having this motion approved and having the minor hockey organizations conduct the work, we'll be able to have this ready for September for the new season coming on. This is in conjunction with the other facility upgrades, the doors, some safety systems, some flooring, some painting that are going to be undertaken by city staff.
So instead of the hockey team, why can't we do this before September?
Through the mayor to Councillor Tour, just with their expertise, they're also going to leverage local businesses to conduct the work. By the time we would go out for procurement to get this work completed, we would not be able to get it done in time for September. So they provided a preliminary design and showed how this will be able to be used for the community use, and they'll be able to conduct the work collaboratively with us while we're doing the rest of the facility and have it ready in the next few months.
Yeah, I would support Councilor Palashi and ask that this get referred to staff to get a full staff report on this, because I understand you're telling me how this is going to work, but I don't have the full confidence in the way this process is going through. And maybe if we get comments from procurement on this in that part of that report as well, that would at least give me more confidence before I can vote on this. Like, I don't want questions from my residents on this and me not being able to tell them why the city is, it's it's not the right word to use, but sort of like outsourcing the work that we're supposed to be doing here. So
maybe the question-
I'd support that ask, I'd support that ask for referral to staff.
Okay, so maybe the question to Bill should be, if we get a staff report for 2 weeks from now at the next council meeting, will that jeopardize, or if we wait 2 weeks, can we still achieve the September renovations desired by Brampton Hockey?
Through the mayor, it will be extremely tight, as it's tight right now, but we will do our absolute best to have it back by June 10th meeting.
Okay, Councillor Paleshi?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and see if I can help out a bit here. Because the monies have already been approved by the mayor. So that's not, it's the aspect of it is having them go ahead with the procurement. So let them go ahead with the procurement. But we still need the information on how that all is going to work. I don't think, we can't move motions without actually staff doing so, providing us with some information for us to be able to justify having to support or not support something like this. So I think let them go ahead with the procurement, because in the end, if it all blows up, then they stop the procurement. But I think where we can get to is that report that's free, readily available, because it's already been approved in the budget. Just bring that back to us. So at the next council meeting, certainly, so that we can get to it. Okay. So my referral is back to staff.
So you can't refer because you spoke to it?
No, I spoke to my referral in the beginning.
The clerk just advised me, you can't, I'm sure there was someone
And
else.
you shouldn't have let me back on. I was justifying the referral to try and help.
we can
But
find
when I
someone to
started,
refer.
no, I moved the referral and then I stood it down because there were people speaking. And people spoke to the referral.
I will defer to the clerk.
So if you refer it,
Mhm.
then just refer it, but don't speak to it. But if there's somebody
No,
else that can
deferral
refer.
is a non-speaking. Referral, I can justify the reason and the rationale as to refer. Deferrals are non-debatable.
You're not taking, you didn't take back the referral? Or I'm not sure where you're
Oh,
at.
just because other people were speaking. So I held, but they actually spoke to the referral. So regardless, semantics. Listen, you allow more speakers than on the announcements. Like, we're picking and choosing what we're going to do here? Let's look at the procedural bylaw if we're going to actually get into it.
I see Councillor Santos happy to refer it, and that we've honored the clerk's advice. And Councillor Tour seconding the referral to the next council meeting. And Councillor Paleshi's advice is tell them to start, and we'll get the staff report in the meantime. And so hopefully if their procurement doesn't conclude before the next 2 weeks, then we can do it after that.
Okay. Through the mayor, yep, we're happy to communicate that and bring the report back on June 10th.
Okay, all those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, our next item.
Sorry, I have help. So I have a motion moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Tour and Mayor Brown about mobile billboards. I've been seeing a lot of mobile billboards in the summer months, and it's really serious distraction, especially when it comes to traffic stops in the community. So I just want to make sure it's captured in our bylaws, and there's a way that we're doing it in a way that ensures safety above everything else. So that's my motion. It's a report back. It's not a decision. And we'll see what staff has to say. Thank you.
All those in favor? Motion carries. Yep. Our next item. That's been dealt with now, right? Yeah.
6.5 is Deputy Mayor Singh, cyclist and pedestrian.
Oh, yes, this is important.
That speed cushion that's separate from the earlier discussions. Myself, Mayor Brown, Councillor Tour have been doing some visits in the wards. We had some tragic incidents and there's no response. I think they just require immediate action. There's one where it's just, I don't want to get into it because maybe the families will be identified, but it's just a motion to move forward on those speed cushions specific towards 9 to 10. Thank you.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had a preventable tragedy in front of a school that has the community heartbroken and hoping and demanding for assistance and how we deal with this. And since we don't have speed cameras, this is the best we can do. All those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously. This takes us to public question period. Are there any questions? Yes, please.
Does it work? Good morning. My name is Cindy Evans. I am a resident of the D section of Bramalea. I have a concern about community rides this year. I am an ATAC member, and I'm not sure how the city and ATAC will be able to provide community rides. We have over, I think, 15 rides, 2 rides, like a 5-kilometer and a 15-kilometer per event. But unfortunately, we don't have enough ATAC members in order to run them safely. We've asked for more members from the Citizens Appointment Committee. At the moment, we have 6 members left out of, we have started with 9. The terms of reference say the minimum is 8. But every time we've asked for more members, we didn't get a response. So I guess what I'm asking is, how can we safely provide these community rides that we want to without enough people? We need at least, we usually have 3 people per ride, so 3 for the 5K, 3 for the 15K, and then we have a snack coordinator. Right now, not all of our members are cyclists because it's the Active Transportation Advisory Committee. We have people who are promoting walking instead, so we really don't have enough people to provide that service to the city, though we would like to.
Okay, I'm just getting some advice from the clerk. This is not on the agenda.
But Councillor Pileski mentioned community rides in his announcement. That's why I thought it would be okay.
Okay. Okay. So we can't get into the closed session aspect of this, but we can talk about the public session. So, Councillor Pileski, do you want to respond to the?
Yeah, absolutely, and you make a fantastic point, and we were talking about cycling enough today to be able to engage with your question and allow you to come up and ask those questions. And if for any member that hasn't been on a community ride, you need to go on to these, and don't think that you can just do these rides without somebody that's experienced, especially with other politicians. Like, they're the worst to try and herd into anywhere across the city. But these are professionals that know what they're doing, and if you ever even felt unsafe, you feel extremely safe when you're out with these individuals, speaking from experience. That being said, not getting into the expansion of any other committees, and I think that we're maybe trying to, I would leave that up to the chair of that committee maybe to speak if they want to. But do you have any suggestions on what else we can do? Can we engage with anybody else? Because it's almost I don't know if it's almost too late. You know the way government works and trying to appoint anybody, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry that this has come up so late because, as I said, we've been asking since 2023 for more members. However, in the past, we've been able to engage other members of the cycling community to act as volunteers. The problem we're having now is that the city does not cover their insurance. As active transportation members, we are covered, but people are hesitant to take the risk of volunteering when they know they might be liable.
That's actually another issue that we recently changed the way we insure these community, not only the rides, but even the Nurturing Neighborhoods program, the barbecues, events that are having throughout the city is becoming a little bit of an issue when we're asking for residents that are volunteers to provide insurance for something that is the betterment of the municipality. I would like maybe an update at the next, I'm going to ask that staff provide council with an update on what's changed with insurance, why has it gone the way it has, and what pathway do we or can we have to go back to the way it was. There's unfortunately nothing I can do here today, but I think it's something that we need to definitely look at. So I'd like to move that, Madam Clerk.
The first community ride was planned for this Sunday, so I hope it's earlier rather than later. Thank you. Thanks for your concern.
Thank you for your questions. So move a motion.
By Councillor Pelletier, second by Councillor Brar. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to bylaws. I have a motion moved by Councillor Vicente, second by Councillor Santos to approve bylaws 8/4/2026 to 88/2026 inclusive. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to closed session. We have one item held by Councillor Keenan in closed session. And to members of the public watching today's meeting, all meetings of council must start and end in public session. Following closed session, we will reconvene in public session to complete its business on today's agenda and report back. So we're going to adjourn until 1 p.m. In closed session to give staff and council an opportunity to grab lunch.
Testing audio, check 1, 2, testing audio.
All right, in the continuing interest of transparency and open government, I will report in public session any outcomes from today's closed session business. To the clerk, can you report out?
Through the chair, in closed session, item 19.3 was considered and direction was given.
Thank you, and if I may, the mayor just had to clean up one of the motions, so if I can pick out 16.5, cyclist and pedestrian safety speed cushions to add Fenton Way. I had forgot that and I apologize. We'll take it as said. All of, you wanna?
Reopen, revote.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to vote. Can I get the 2/3 to open it? Thank you. We're gonna add Fenton Way, and yes, you're right, I do need a motion to approve that, so Councillor Grippertop Tour will move it, I'll second it. All in favor? Yep. We're just adding a missing street to Fenton Way, not this motion. This is, sorry, it's 16.5. Cyclist and pedestrian. Yes, sorry, apologies, Fenton Way. Okay?
I'm on the board.
Pardon?
I'm on the board.
Oh, well, Councillor Pleshy?
Thank you, Mr. Acting Mayor. I guess, I'm asking a rhetorical question, I think. All the work's been done on this, right? Like, we all work with staff to look at speed cushions on certain streets. So this isn't a motion that we're moving today without looking at anything. We've investigated. I know that there's been a tragedy, and you know, but regardless, we've looked into the speed cushions on these streets. Correct?
Through the chair to Councillor Pleshy, yes, we have received these streets and done studies for them.
Okay, so they're on a list. So I just wanted to bring it to public awareness. This isn't something that these streets and cushions are on a list that they've been working on, which is typically what we do. We're just finalizing by way of a motion, and that's what's here before us. Okay, thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Councillor Pleshy, for the clarity, and I have a motion moved by myself and Councillor Tour. All in favor? Motion carries. Confirming bylaws. I have a motion moved by Councillor Pleshy and seconded by Councillor Brar to approve the confirming bylaw to confirm the proceedings and decisions from the meeting. All in favor? Motion carries. Our last item of business is item 21, adjournment. Council is next scheduled to meet Wednesday, June 10th, 2026 at 9:30 a.m. I have a motion moved by Councillor Keenan and seconded by Councillor Medeiros to adjourn today's meeting. All in favors? Thank you. That carries.